this is Emily with Create Kids Couture, and I want to do a video tutorial for you guys on how to crochet Marla's Messy Bun crochet hat. And I really love this pattern. My daughter loves it too, and I hope you guys love it as well. I wanted it to be easy enough for a beginner, and I'm gonna walk you through all the steps, so even if you've never crocheted before, I hope that you can complete this project. So just a few things to get started. You're gonna need a crochet hook, okay? And I'm using a size N for this project. You could need to go a size up or down, just depending on the weight of your yarn and how tightly you crochet. So it may be something you need to play with in order to get your tension the correct way, so that you're gonna know that you're crocheting the right size hat. I hope that makes sense. So the first thing you wanna do when you pick out your yarn is you're gonna wanna crochet 6 double crochet and do 3 rows of that. Okay, and then you're going to want to measure and make sure that that is 3 inches by 3 inches square. Okay, so if it's way too big, then you either need to adjust your tension or go down to a tighter size needle to help you get your crochets tighter. Or if it's too small, you might want to go up a size and loosen your tension. So this one I did, you can tell I did have pretty loose tension. It's this same yarn that I used for this hat here. And I liked a little bit looser weave. So that's what this one looks like. If you'd use a bulkier yarn, you're gonna have tighter crochet pieces like this one is. So this is a bulkier yarn. It started coming apart, but I actually used a size M needle to try to get the 3 inches by 3 inches gauge for this hat made out of this yarn. So you're going to want to do that first, and then I'm going to show you how to do your slip stitches to make this bottom part of the rim right here. If you're having trouble reading your pattern, and if you have any questions on, like, you want to see slow motion how to do each different kind of crochet, we also have a video tutorial that goes through all the different basic stitches. So it'll go through a single crochet, how to chain, how to do a double crochet and a half double crochet, and how to turn your work. So if you've never done those things, I suggest you check out our YouTube videos on that as well. All right, so let's get started on Marla's. I'm probably gonna have to stop here and there because, as you can see, the kids are playing outside. So if they come inside and need me, then I'll have to stop and come back to you. So this will be fun. Let's get started. Okay, we're ready to get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to make a slip knot. Okay, to do this, just simply make a loop with the yarn, and then you want to pull your strings through your circle that you made. Okay, so this is your slip knot. I'll do that again for you. Okay, so just cross over your fingers and then pull through your loop. Okay, so that's your slip knot. It's going to go on your hook. And we're going to start with a chain 6. Okay, so to chain, you're going to yarn over your hook and just pull through that loop. And that is a chain stitch. Yarn over and pull through. Okay, so that's 2, 3, okay, so that's 6. So now we're going to do a slip stitch going back the other direction in our work. Okay, so we're going to skip this first chain that's next to our hook, and we're going to insert our hook into the next space. Okay, so you're just going to insert your hook, and then you're going to slip stitch. So to slip stitch, you yarn over, pull through right here, and then you're going to keep pulling that same yarn loop through what was on your hook. Okay, so now this one is on our hook. Okay, so I'll do that for you again. Just go next door. So we're just going to keep going across. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and keep pulling through again. Okay, so we're going to go all the way across. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, pull through. Okay, insert, yarn over, pull through, and one more. Okay, so now we have 5 stitches across the top of our hat brim here. Okay, so we're going to start working across the other side. So you want to turn your work, and we're going to chain 1. Okay, so just yarn over and pull through that loop, and that's your chain 1. Okay, so we're ready to work across the other side. And I want to look at really closely at these stitches that we have here. Okay, so we have 2 loops on the top for each stitch. And we only want to work through the back loop of each stitch. And this is hardest to see here. After you get going and you have more rows, it's quite easy to see where you should be inserting your hook. So I just wanted to be really clear on the first couple that we do. Okay, so here's the top 2 loops. We're only going to insert our hook and work through the back. And we're going to slip stitch across this row. Okay, so just pull through like we did before. And we're going to continue working all the way across. So that was 1 slip stitch. Now we're going to go into the next one. Here's the 2 loops. We're going to go into the back loop. Okay, and so we're going to have 5 stitches across this row right here. So here's number 3. 4. And the last one here is 5. Okay, so I would suggest going back and counting, making sure that you can see that you have 5 stitches along the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what we're going to keep doing all the way across to make our hat brim. So if you're making, it just depends if you're making the child size or the adult size, how many rows that you're going to do. So, but when you turn and you're going to go back through, it's a little bit easier as you continue going to see. You're going to just keep on doing the back loop. All the way across, just like this. Okay, so this is 3. And if you're having a really hard time inserting your hook, then you're probably want to start over and use less tension so that you have a little bit more space here to maneuver to give you enough stretch to your hat. There you go. Okay, so that's our first 2 rows here. Okay, so I went ahead and did a few rows and I just wanted to stop and show you here what it should look like. And you can tell that this is a really stretchy crochet pattern here. So this is nice. You're gonna be able to wear it and it'll fit snug around your head even though you're stretching it on and off. You can tell that every 2 rows is gonna create this little column here where they are tighter or closer together. And so if you need help counting your rows, I just count by 2. So I know that this is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, if that makes sense. So that might help you if you're counting your rows, going back to do that. And you're just going to continue going back and forth, doing your slip stitches until you have the correct number of rows, and it should fit nicely around your head. All right, so I'm going to keep going, and you keep going too, and then I'll come back to you when I'm completed the hat brim. Alright guys, sorry I switched yarn. I finished the other project and hadn't had time to do the video yet with all my children, and so I wanted to go ahead and continue on finishing that project, and I started a new one for you guys. Okay, so we have crocheted the hat band. Now we're finished. Okay, and this part is really stretchy. So you want to go ahead and measure and make sure that you're close to where the pattern suggests the length be. But if it's not exactly there, like if it's still a little short when it's like this, then you can always stretch it. If it's really a lot longer than it's supposed to be at this point, then your hat's going to be too big. And so you may want to start over and try a different gauge or a different crochet hook to get the right size. Okay, so I just finished right here. I'm going to go ahead and chain 1 again and get ready to join right here. Okay, so I've kind of played with it. This is not like a one size. You could do it different ways, but this is how I've been doing it. I go ahead and insert my hook again in the back loop, and then insert it again through the other side where I'm going to connect them. Just starting right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch to bring the two sides together. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the back loop again, and then across to the other side, yarn over, pull through, pull through, pull through. So I'm just slip stitching here, only in one stitch on this side, and then I'm grabbing 2 stitches on this side just to make sure that it's not going to have a gap or anything when you're connected. Okay, so insert in the back. Sorry. Sometimes this fuzzy yarn gets a little bit separated. Okay, and then on the other side, pull through and pull through. Okay, and one more. Insert. Mine got a little tight here. And then on the corner of your work on that side. Okay, so now we're all together. And we're going to start working. We're going to turn, when I say turn your work horizontal, so now we're going to be working along the top of the hat here. Okay, so I just joined. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. 1, 2, and we're going to be doing a half double crochet. And so right here where we were working, we're going to go ahead and do another half double crochet right here. So to do a half double crochet, sorry, let me undo that so I can show you. You just chain 2. You're going to yarn over your hook before you insert it. Okay, then we're going to insert the hook, yarn over and pull through, and now we have 3 loops on our hook, and then yarn over, pull through again. So yarn over, we're going to insert the hook, and here I'm just going right between the ridges that we have here on the hat band. So yarn over, insert, and now we have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so that's our half double crochet, and you're going to continue doing this along the entire hat band. If you're doing the child size, you should have 32, and if you're doing the adult size, you should have 36. You're going to keep going all the way around. So yarn over, insert your hook, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so you're going to go all the way around, and then I will meet you back here and show you how to join those 2, or that first round to itself, and then we'll continue going on all of the other rounds for our hat. Okay, so I just finished that very first row of half double crochet, or round. Now we're working in round, so I went all the way around, and now I'm ready to join my original stitches on this side. Okay, so right here, I'm going to kind of stick my finger in so you can see the difference. Right here is where I had the first chain 2 and then started with a half double crochet here. So to join, what I'm going to do is I just finished. I still have everything's the same as if I just finished crocheting that half double crochet. I'm going to insert my hook here where that chain 2 is. Okay, now some crochet patterns have you completely ignore that chain 2 and actually join your rounds by joining into the next stitch, like joining into the first half double crochet. I found it made my hat just look a little bit bulky, and so this is how I preferred to do it in this pattern. So you're just going to insert where that chain 2 was, and we're going to slip stitch to join them. Okay, just like that. Okay, so I'll show you what that looked like again. This is where the last half double crochet is. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, and just pull through those 2 stitches and pull through again. So now I'm ready to get going on the next round. So from here on out in the hat, well, we're going to chain 2, sorry. We're going to work in the back loops only of these half double crochets. So as you can tell, there's 2 loops here on the top, And if you turn your work, there's a third loop that is towards the back, and that is the back loop where we're going to be working around. So to do your half double crochet, we'll yarn over. We're going to insert our hook into just the back loop, yarn over and pull through. We have 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through. Okay, so yarn over, turn your work a little bit so you can see these are the 2 loops we want to be facing the front, and we'll work here into this back loop and continue all the way around. Okay, so that is what the pattern looks like for the next 6 rows if you're doing, or the next 5 rows if you're doing a child's hat, or 7 rows if you're doing an adult hat. So just remember, in the end, when you're going back and counting, this would be your first row. Now we're working on our second row. So you want a total of 6 or a total of 8 rows, depending on the size hat that you're making. And it's a lot easier to see after you get going where those back loops are. So don't worry if that's new to you. It's pretty simple. And the more rows that you have, the easier. Your work like kind of starts just taking that form. And so it's easier to tell where you are working. Okay, so I'm going to meet you back. I'm going to continue out and finish up to have 6 rows. I'm making a child size hat here, or you will do 8 for an adult. And then I'll show you how we're going to do our final round to just kind of finish off our hat. Okay, so I finished up my sixth row here, and I'm going to get ready to do my final round, and which consists of a half double crochet again, but then also a half double crochet decrease. So I wanted to show you how to do that. Okay, so I just joined. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2, and I'm going to work a regular half double crochet in there. And now I'm going to do the half double crochet decrease. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through. I have 1, 2, 3 loops on my hook. Okay, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook in the back again, and yarn over to pull through. So now I have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. And this is my half double crochet decrease. There. Okay, then I'm going to work another regular half double crochet. So yarn over, insert, and pull through your 3 loops. Okay, so we're going to do this all the way around your hat. So it's time for another decrease. So I'm going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. Okay, so I have 3 loops, but I'm not done. I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through. I have 5 loops, and I'm going to yarn over to pull through all 5 loops like that. Okay, so then you're going to do a regular half double crochet, and then another decrease. So yarn over. Okay, but instead of coming through, you're going to work another stitch. 5 loops, over, pull through. So I'm all the way back around here to the very end. Okay, so to finish your hat, you're just going to slip stitch the same way we've always done into the beginning of that round. Okay, so if you want to, you can just finish off right here. It just kind of depends on if you want to do this last step. I found that I kind of like the way it looks adding one more row of slip stitches across the entire top. So that's completely optional. You can stop here. It does add a little bit of bulk to your hat. So if you're wanting your hat not to be as tall, then you may want to go ahead and stop here. If you want to do one more row of slip stitches, just go ahead and chain one, and then into the back of each half double crochet, just work a slip stitch. And I just kind of liked it because it pushes those 2 stitches to the front a little bit more right here, kind of stick with our motif of the pattern to have that knitted look even though it's crocheted. So when you're slip stitching into the half double crochet decrease, so these are the 2 stitches here that we want to be facing forward, and so you'll see there's this third, that's our back loop right here. So it's a little bit diagonal. There's just so much that it was going through. It looks a little bit different than your other ones. So that's what you're looking for to slip stitch through on those. All the way around. And that's it. So when you get back to the other side, if you are going to do the slip stitch round, then you would just join into that chain one, and then I will finish up and show you how to weave in your ends of your project. Okay, so I just wanted to show you where I'm going to join here. So here's my final slip stitch, and there was my chain one on this side. So I'm just going to insert my hook and slip stitch into that one so that they're all together. Now I already cut my yarn on this end, so you just want to go ahead and pull that piece all the way through, and we are ready to weave in the ends. Okay, so to do this, you want a tapestry needle, which is just a needle with a larger eye here. And this one, mine kind of has a funny little curved end. I'm not really sure what that is for, but it kind of came in a package of several different ones. So you want to thread your yarn through the eye, which can be a little tricky. Okay, and then we are going to, I like to turn my hat inside out so that I'm only going to weave this extra, oh, I gotta go through the top of the hat now, into the back. Oh goodness, it's my other tail. Okay, I'll leave that one in separately. So here's the top strand that we just cut, and here is the hat inside out. Okay, so I just want to go back through, and I just start inserting the needle into the back loops here of your hat. And if you work just in the back like this, then you're not going to see it when you turn it around to the front. And I just kind of like to go one way for a little bit and pull it through. And then I like to come back through the other way just to kind of secure it a little bit more as well. So you just want to do that until you have everything woven in nicely. I kind of give it a little bit of a stretch so that I'm not tightening anywhere in my hat. Okay, and that's it. You are done with your Marla's messy bun hat. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and trim off that last little bit here. And are the top parts finished? So you're going to do the same thing here with the piece from the bottom where we started. And there is your finished product. I hope you love yours. My kids and friends have loved theirs, but I've made them. And thanks for joining us for our tutorial, and we'll see you back for more CKC Crochet.